You ain't gonna believe this. So a rapper wore a hat in a Gap commercial and accidentally turned a broke kid from Queens into a millionaire. So the kid name is Daymond. Daymond has $40 in a drink, and instead of begging a big brand to notice him, he creates his own brand, and it ends up on the biggest rapper head in a Gap commercial. Now this rapper name is James, but we'll call him Cool J. What do him and Cool J know? This one commercial will turn a brand on the corner of Queens to a $6 billion brand and redefine what for us and by us really mean. This story is about Daymond John, a black entrepreneur who flipped streetwear into a movement. Before Shark Tank fame, before private jets and business suites, Daymond was just a kid in Hollins, Queens, raised by a single mom trying to make $1 stretch into rent. See, it's the 90s. Hip-hop is taking over, and if you're black in America, your style is your identity. But here's the thing, none of the major brands are speaking to you. Tommy Hilfiger, Ralph Lauren, they're selling to the culture, but they're not for the culture. So Daymond looks around and says, screw it, I build my own thing. He borrows $40 and buys some fabric and makes wool ski hats by hand and sells them on the street for $10 each. And then one day, he flips it to $800. That hustle turned into a brand. He called it FUBU, short for us, by us. A 4-letter punch in the face to a fashion industry that pretended blacks didn't exist unless they were modeling their clothes. Daymond sets up shop in his mom's house, and when I say shop, I mean he turned the entire house into a production factory. Living room, sewing machine. The kitchen, a shipping station. His mom even mortgaged the house twice to fund the dream. This wasn't just fashion, this was a family-powered rebellion. Now here's where it gets legendary. Daymond and his boys, we'll call the FUBU crew, are making shirts, jackets, and hats. But they don't have marketing money, no commercials, no billboards. So what do? They start lending clothes to rappers. Every time they hear rappers in town, they'll show up with free gear. No contract, no expectations, just faith. And then it happens. Remember the rapper we talked about earlier, Cool J? Not only is he rap royalty, he's also from Queens. And he ends up wearing a FUBU hat in a Gap commercial. But not only that, he drops a line, for us, by us, on the low, while wearing a hat in a Gap ad.
I know you like your outfit stylish, any other line but the Gap is childish. Everybody working as your personal stylist, you're falling. Once you hear the Gap calling, you can't resist the shopping, big ballin', not stopping, yes, y'allin'. Jeans popping in every mall in town, the city. GAP, gritty, ready to go, for us, by us, on the low. G, that's for getting the A for always. P, that's for power and the people that praise backwards. P for popular, A for attitude. G, get it going, daddy, Gap is on the move.
Gap had no clue what FUBU was. They just thought it was a cool accessory or something. Meanwhile, the streets exploded. Every black kid watching knew what Cool J just did. He just hijacked corporate airtime to promote a black-owned brand. From that moment, FUBU went nuclear. The Gap ad ran for weeks, unedited. And that single moment catapulted FUBU into pop culture history. Daymond signed a deal with Samsung to scale manufacturing, and suddenly the boys from Queens are running a global fashion empire. FUBU is on music videos, in malls, on MTV, everywhere. At its peak, FUBU pulls in $350 million a year, over $6 billion in total sales globally. And here's the twist. Daymond never went to a fashion school, never had formal business training. He just knew the streets. And in this case, the streets spoke louder than Harvard. FUBU wasn't just clothing, it was a declaration. In a world that made black youth feel excluded from luxury, FUBU said, you don't need to be accepted, you can be the one accepting. It flipped the script. You weren't trying to wear Gucci to fit in, you were rocking FUBU to stand out. It was ours, our language, our energy, our story. Printed on denim and stitched with pride. That's why when you wore it, you weren't just wearing a brand, you were wearing resistance. Like all trends, eventually FUBU cooled down. The market shifted and oversized logos faded. But Daymond, he didn't. He pivoted. Instead of clout chasing, he went where the power was, ownership. He launched books, taught ownership, and then he landed a seat on Shark Tank, the most watched business show in the world. The same guy who once sold hats in his mama house, now investing millions into other people's dreams. FUBU still exists today as a legacy brand, a licensing power, and a cultural monument. You might not wear the jerseys anymore, but the mindset still undefeated. And here's the lesson. In a world that profits from your image, but won't invest in your voice, Build your own table, just like Daymond did. He didn't wait for Gucci. He didn't ask Louis Vuitton. He built FUBU with 40 bucks, 4 letters, and a whole lot of watch me do it anyway. Because sometimes the best way to beat the system is to become too loud for it to ignore you.